about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, Orlando sucks. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 80 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me is, well, actually, Chris isn't here today. He had some other things to deal with. He actually has his wife's birthday, so happy birthday to her. But in his place, we do have a very, very entertaining guest. We've had him on here before, and we appreciate him taking the time to join us on this very special episode. Let me introduce to you Mr. Xavier Guerrero. What's going on, Xavier?
Good, man. Hey, thanks for having me again, dude. I always enjoy it.
No, man, I appreciate you coming on. So yesterday, obviously, big time win. A lot of saltiness going around from not just Orlando, but just about every fan base I can think of. But before we get into all the saltiness, I did want to talk about just Messi in general. I know he's been balling, right? So that there's no question in that. But were you surprised at his attitude or the way the chirping that was going on during the game? How he was pushing people off the ball physically.
Manic Messi?
The way he was pushing people in the
Manic Messi?
Yeah, spicy Messi. I like spicy Messi.
Yeah, the Spice Girls spice him up. No, it's not surprising to me, and I'll tell you why. Go ahead, keep going.
No. I was just gonna ask you. Are you surprised? Because I see everybody
anymore.
here. No, not anymore.
Right? Not anymore because of the Messi I saw in the World Cup, of the Messi I saw when
the Netherlands?
they lost when they lost their first game
to Saudi Arabia.
You know the thing that with Messi and in Argentina they wanted him to be Maradona, and he's not Maradona, but they wanted to see a little edge from him, a side. Well, when they lost the first game against Saudi Arabia, that everyone was like, what? You know, they had won 33, 32 in a row, and then they lose that game after having the lead. And he came out and he said, relax, I got this. This is on me. You know, take it easy. I'm telling you, we're going to be okay. And I saw a little bit cocky. I saw the attitude, and I saw that confidence, and I saw the leader, right? So I knew, it's in there. It's coming out. It's coming out. And it just kept growing and growing. And when it's out, that's like the Incredible Hulk, right? It's out now. So now you know it's in there, and some, you know, it comes out. So I'm not surprised. I was a little worried that he could have gotten, you know, maybe tossed. But yeah, I'm not one of the critics, you know, not because I root for the team, because when I'm watching the game, I try to be objective. I always say that. I try to see what's there. And I saw, you know, he had a yellow card, and then another plays that were kind of close. And I wouldn't have, you know, if I was referee, I wouldn't have thrown him out. You know, it was an edgy game. It was a tough game, and that's the star of the show. I wouldn't have thrown him out. I think it was there.
It's definitely physical. And like you said, you referred back to the World Cup. After the Netherlands game, when he had the obviously right, que mirad bobo and like all that right there. Yeah, when I saw that, and maybe it's because I never watched Messi too closely. Like I watched Messi like everybody else, but like I've said plenty of times on the show, I used to be a Real Madrid fan, so I wasn't like locked into Barcelona games. Right? I'm Colombian. I'm not locked into Argentina games. So when I saw it in the World Cup, like, man, this kid got a little more bite to him than I realized when I saw that back in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But the first two games against Cruz Azul and Atlanta, I felt like he was having fun. He was smiling, friendly. Yeah. But with Orlando, it was like right away. He was just aggressive, chirping.
He got the memo. Somebody sent him the memo. It's
yes.
Like, and
he understood the assignment.
He's all in. And people came and someone asked, like, they're confused. They thought he was going to come just to retire and to chill. He's coming to have a family life, to enjoy a life just beyond soccer. You know, he wants to enjoy his kids. But he's a competitor. Just like I'm a nobody. I'm a regular Joe. I go play. And when I go play, sometimes I get hurt because the ego and the competitor comes out. You're not the greatest player in the history by not having an ego. Is he a very humble guy? For sure. But inside, He's got that. Hey, I'm the best, and I want to do. And you're not just going to try to lose to Orlando. This guy came to win. Jordi Alba came to win. Busquets came to win, and they're letting those guys in that team know, hey, we're here to win. So step up, and they're doing it.
I see some people asking. I guess they got on here a little later asking about Chris. Chris is busy right now. He's having dinner with his wife. It's her birthday, but he did say that if he gets here on time, he will jump on because he wants to talk a lot of crap about Orlando. So if he gets on here early enough, he'll be here to jump on. I don't think he actually didn't go to the game last night, so unfortunately there. And I should shout out from my daughter Olivia. I love you too, baby.
Oh,
go to
cute.
bed. Go to bed. All right. So we got Messi, understood the assignment, playing aggressive, and like I tweeted it out last night. If I didn't think it was possible for us as a fan base to appreciate him any more than we already did. Right? He passed up the money from Saudi Arabia. He passed on playing in Europe. He came here. He's embraced the city, going to Publix, all that stuff. I felt like that's it. Like we can't love him anymore. But once you start chirping and getting aggressive with Orlando, you're going to win us over even more because
he got a
that's
spot in the heart.
Yes, because even the blue collar players, like if I just have like a random David Ruiz go ahead and get a yellow card like Messi did, like, okay, I F's with you, David
You're one
Ruiz.
of us. You're one of us.
But Messi doing it, man, that's it. It's a whole nother level. Build this guy a statue. Like a whole new respect for him and a brand new admiration for him.
Yeah,
but
like you, I've always been like a Real Madrid fan. Follow the team.
Right.
Love Cristiano Ronaldo, but I've always been. I've always looked at Messi, even back because I'm older than you guys. Like Maradona, I've always appreciated greatness. So when I see it, I'm one of those guys that says I love them both. Don't hate me if you want, but I love them both and I appreciate them both in their own ways because they're completely two different people and they score and they do play differently, but they're both brilliant. So Messi's the man. Messi's the man.
And I'm with you because I remember when I would talk to people about Real Madrid, people would think I was weird because although I always obviously Ronaldo over Messi, as far as me liking a player because he played for Real Madrid,
it's your preference.
But I never said Messi was better. Ronaldo was better than Messi. I don't understand how anybody could say that. Ronaldo's a better finisher, I think, but Messi is a better player in every aspect of the game. So I was never that guy. But I saw somebody here in the comments ask about the Dallas side. We're actually going to have Joe Shaw come on the show a little later.
Nice.
He is from Dallas. He's a big Dallas supporter. He's also the one that does the Miami Fusion podcast. So he also has a lot of love for Miami soccer. So he's going to come on with us a little later. He's actually going to help us preview the Dallas game a little better than we can because,
Beautiful.
I could honestly tell you I don't know Dallas as well as I'm sure he does. All right. So were you surprised that Messi and Busquets played a full 90? Because I expected it from Messi, but I was honestly surprised to see Busquets run out there for 90 minutes or 100 minutes, really.
When I was in the press box, and the game was tied 1-1. They go into the half tied 1-1. We're talking, we always chirp amongst each other. One of the guys asked me, what do you think? And I said, look, I'm a little worried if Messi comes out because these guys are growing into the game. It's not like Orlando was doing anything special, except they were countering, pretty good counters. But it's not like they had the possession. It's not like they were doing anything great. But it felt like they were growing. It felt like they were starting to bother Miami. And Miami had the possession, was moving it, but they weren't either. It didn't look like they were controlling him either. It was like an even match. And I said a 1-1 game. And if Messi comes out, I'm a little worried. So I'm glad that and that's the competitor that these guys, competitors that they are. I'm sure that the coach, and he said it after the match. It's like, if Messi would have said, hey, sub me out, he's coming out because he's looking and listening to see what he's telling him. And Messi was all into it, like you said. He's bought into this team. He's bought into this team. He's enjoying his time here, and he wants to give this team, everything he has. I've seen him defend in these 3 games with Inter Miami like I haven't seen him like in years past. I mean, in the previous game against Atlanta, I saw him make a run all the way across field to get to the guy, and that wasn't him before. This game, he chilled a little more, but he was still intense in his defenses. Like you can tell he's all into this, and it's great for us. It's great for
Well,
Miami.
and okay. Well, you touched on it a little bit, so let's talk about the game in general. I know that obviously everybody's saying that the penalty call, and we're gonna get into that penalty call in a second,
Yeah,
but
I'll give you my
that the
opinion on
penalty,
that.
yeah, but that was the turning point of the game. Whatever. I really felt like Orlando really didn't have that many chances. Like I felt like Miami basically controlled the game. They controlled the ball. And although Orlando was pressing very high, right? They were trying to force those turnovers.
They made Miami
Miami,
uncomfortable. They did make
right?
Miami uncomfortable.
But I thought Miami did a pretty decent job of keeping possession, kind of minimizing those turnovers, at least in their half. And I thought that Kamal Miller had one hell of a game because when they were pressing high, Kamal Miller either played the ball to the right places or he himself took out one player and would push the ball up and
That's what
open
was
up the
expected.
defense.
That's what was expected when he was brought in.
Yes. And
this player
I
right
am
now.
what I saw last game. I think that's the best game I've seen Kamal Miller play, and I was really happy with the way he's refreshed for sure. So
no,
I was really
absolutely.
happy with Kamal.
He's a very talented player, a lefty, a center back, hot commodity, and the quality that he has. But he hadn't provided what he provided in this game. This is a game to me that tells me Miami can mix it up with anybody in this league and in the Mexican whatever league they're playing, because they have the finesse. But when it got feisty and they had to push, they pushed back. When it got hard that they needed to defend, they defended hard, and they can do whatever you want. We can do it, and they showed me that in this game, because Orlando, I give them a lot of respect. I don't know if it's me, but I think from Miami to Orlando, there's a lot more respect than from Orlando to Miami. Like they're always saying that this is a shitty club and all that stuff. I don't know, but I think we respect that they're a good team. But now they're gonna have to respect that Miami is a solid team. Miami outplayed them. All the other stuff we're gonna talk about later, is part of the game. But if you watch this game, Miami outplayed them. If it's a boxing, they had more points. Orlando threw some Orlando threw some power punches, but watching it, Miami outplayed Orlando. They justly won the game.
I agree. I think that, and to the point that you said that we respect them more than they respect us. I don't want to say I respect them too much, right? Because fuck them. But
that's a different story, though. That's different.
Yes.
But on the pitch.
Right, yeah. But before the game, I came on here and I said, this out of the 3 games we've played, or the 2 first games, this was going to be the biggest challenge, because I knew that their defense is solid.
Absolutely.
Like
Rivalry
I knew that this wasn't going to be
rivalry game.
Yeah, that also. So Atlanta, again, we scored 4 easy goals, but they had one of the worst defense and still have one of the worst defenses in the league. Yeah. Cruz Azul, I don't know what they're going to be by the end of their Liga MX season, but the first 3 games, they looked pretty bad. So I felt like those were convincing wins, but nothing to like write home about. But I knew that this was going to be a challenge. So I respected them in that aspect. And I'm really happy at the way we looked, because although they were pressing high and they made it difficult on us, right? They had 2 guys marking Messi constantly. We figured out a way to kind of break those presses. Kamal Miller and Yedlin, I think, has not enough people are talking about how well Yedlin's been playing over the last month. Yedlin's been playing great. I think that this was a full team effort. And I'm really glad at how they
Where was this yelling at the beginning, though? I understand that it's a different team, obviously, because when you have 2 studs like that, and I said it before, even before they got here, I said, look, what I expect when you have these 2 elite players, because that's what they're older, but they're still elite players. When you have these guys, the rest of the team, they kind of like get 100%. this confidence in this, and you see it, with a guy with Robert Taylor. He's always been a good player. I always liked him as a player, and he stepped it up even more. His quality is out. His creativity is just flowing. But he's like, dude, I have the goal right here, and I'm touching and I'm tapping with him. You saw the pass that he put in for the 3rd goal. That's a world-class play, and he's exaggerating. No, I'm not exaggerating. He got the ball, he stood the guy up, and he just gave a perfect lob into the box with 3 defenders around him. And Joseph, with people always bitching Joseph. Not only, they're bitching him, but you have to see his improvement. He hasn't been scoring, but man, he's dynamic. He's having some dynamic runs. He's having some touches, and that play was cold-blooded. He stopped it, and he kind of gave a little fake, and the defender bit like he was going to shoot it with his left, and he just went like this, toma, to Messi, like, here. And Messi
But
said, gracias. Boom.
yeah,
I'm in.
and I want to talk about Joseph because he has been getting pooped on a lot. And by the way, random gawk, yes, I was in the south stands. I was in the 7th row, right behind the goal. And the tiki taka that Matthew's bringing up, I think it was like 35 straight passes where they were just going. We haven't seen that all year long. It was awesome to
Ever
see.
in the history
Yeah,
of Inter
no, and
Miami,
of this franchise, no.
ever.
But
We've never seen
back to
something like that.
Joseph. A couple things. We were talking about this with Alex Winley last week. Joseph has been getting criticized a lot because he hasn't been scoring.
Mhm.
But Alex agreed with me, and Chris also agreed. We think that he's been playing, although he hasn't been finishing, he's been playing well for what he's expected to do on this team right now.
He's
He's expected
been
to make
better.
those runs. Right. He's making those runs. He's taking a few defenders with him. That second goal against Atlanta for Messi, the reason that he was wide open in the middle of the box is because Joseph made that run in front of him and took 2 defenders with him. He's making the plays necessary. Now he's not finishing. And this brings me back to yesterday. When they had that penalty kick, I remember I was with my brother and I told my brother, I think Joseph's going to take it. And he said, there's no way. And I said, Messi, at least to me, up until that point, nothing had proved it, but I just thought to myself, Messi seems like that type of player that, one, doesn't care about taking that penalty kick, and two, is like, you know what? Joseph needs this. And he went ahead and he let him take that. And I think that was a
Brilliant.
huge move.
He's brilliant.
I wish they would have had a press conference with Messi afterwards. I don't think they did, correct?
No.
But I wish they would have, so they could have asked him, because I really think that he was like, you know what? Joseph needs this confidence boost more than I do. And I love that Joseph returned it
You're
right back
100%
a little later.
You're 100% correct in that. That's the type of player. It's he's brilliant. And these 3 games, when you see him live, you see him there. He's so smart. It looks like he's floating in slow motion, and everybody else is standing still. I mean, in the goals that he scored, it's just a couple of movements in the box. The first goal is fantastic because you have the pass goes out to Taylor. Taylor starts cutting in, right? And the defenders start focusing, which is crazy to me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna focus here, and I got the greatest guy in the history right next to me, but I lost focus on him. How that happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
But everybody starts to shift, kind of looking, and Messi's outside the box, and he times the run perfectly. Like, everybody's looking, and he's just going in by himself, floating with his guardian angel wings, floating. And this guy chips a perfect, beautiful, lovely. And then you have the goal, just go like caress it and beam it up there. That beginning had me thinking, oh, whoa, what are we seeing here? What is this? This is from another world, another level of soccer. Beautiful, man.
And
he's just brilliant.
And like I said before, I was in the south stand. I was in the 7th row, which, by the way, I still have a grief with Inter Miami for not offering me my season tickets, because I'm in the 1st row or my season tickets, but whatever. I had to buy 7th row. They should give me the option to buy my 1st row, but whatever. That's a different story. I was right there, and I didn't see Messi. Maybe it's because I was so focused in on Robert Taylor and the ball.
Neither did the defenders.
When he chipped it, I was like, there's nobody there. Where is he chipping it to? And then Messi just comes out of nowhere. And the control that he has to just stop it on his chest and then just volley, it was just, man, it's a work of art. And at that point, I was like, oh, we might kick their ass. Like that. I was thinking this might be Atlanta all over again. So,
I wasn't. I didn't think that, but I thought, okay, that's a good start. That's a good start.
No, I don't know. I felt like that was such an easy goal. The way he kind of just was by himself. I was like, oh shit, I might have been wrong with this whole good Orlando defense. But no, Orlando played solid after that. And Emmanuel, thank you for joining us, man. 1 a.m. in Africa.
Wow.
That is awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to join us. But it was a good game, like we expected. Up until, like I said, the last 3 games now have been decided by more than 1 goal. But before those 3 games, the first 9 were all either a draw or decided by 1 goal. It's a rivalry game. That's what you expect when you have a rivalry game. Those really close, contested games.
Tough, gritty games. And Miami found a way to out-gritty them and to finesse and beat them 3-1. We'll talk about the other stuff as we get into it, because there's a lot of I can understand a lot of the complaints from the Orlando City fans, but I have a perspective. I give them some credit in their concerns, but I think there's more to it. It's not as simple as, oh, that wasn't a penalty. There's more to it.
Right before, well, I want to get into that next, but I want to talk about one thing before we get into Orlando Crybabies, okay? So, the one goal that they scored was off of a set piece again.
Beautiful. They caught Miami napping.
But Miami's always napping on set pieces. What do you think is the issue?
Stop. We better wake up.
Because it seems like I almost like an open play. I'm almost not worried about getting scored on anymore. But when there's a set piece, when there's a set piece, there's a set play.
Especially like quarter kicks. They're quarter kicks are always dangerous with Miami.
So I don't understand what it is, but as soon as I see some type of set piece, a corner, a free kick, anything, I'm like, oh shit, here it comes.
They might relax for a second. I'm not sure why.
You think that's what it is? Because that's what I was gonna ask you.
I'm not sure.
What do you think they need to do? Because I thought that everybody's like, Neville's tactics are horrible. Well, Tata doesn't seem to be knowing how to control this either, because we've been scored on twice in the Leagues Cup now, both off of set pieces.
Lynn, I asked him about that a few games back, and he said that it's a desire, right? It's a desire. When that ball's up in the air, you have to want it more than the other person. But another thing is that I see is Miami plays a zone, and then they play kind of like a man-to-man up top. And sometimes in the zone, people get lost. People get lost in that zone. You don't know whose assignment it is. No, this is mine. It's confusing. Old school was, 1-1. That's your guy. Wherever he goes, it opens up. It's different tactics to the fan. I just think Miami's is a little confusing with that zone. Sometimes they get lost in the zone. Instead
of just marking somebody.
Yeah, but this play was brilliant, though, because you can tell these guys worked on this, and this was specifically, planned for this game. They saw something. They saw something.
And our back post is always open.
Always.
Neville,
and that was the shift. You see that play?
Yeah.
Angulo is a fantastic player. He came in, he just left Benji because he burst with the Rockets past him and hit a good shot with his right, uncomfortable. Drake made the beautiful save, but the ball goes perfectly to Raul. What happened? Everybody shifted, and they left the back guy. I counted. I think there was 4 or 5 Orlando players, but there was like 7 Miami players. So that they shouldn't have never been an open guy. It's just everybody went the wrong way. So they got distracted, I think, on that play. But it was brilliant, though. That was a play where they said, okay, let's use it now. It's the moment. And it was executed great. They caught us off guard.
100%. And Pedro Rafael, he says he's Portuguese, but he also understands that Messi is better than Ronaldo. So that's saying a lot, right? From somebody that's Portugal.
From straight from Ronaldo's crib.
Now, we are going to get into the Orlando Crybabies, and I promise you I did not plan it this way. But as we were about to transition to Orlando being Crybabies, we just had somebody join in on the show. So let me bring on Mr. KBD.
No, that was perfectly planned. That was perfectly planned.
Hey, listen, I didn't even know. I really didn't try to plan it this way, but here we are.
It was destined to be this way.
Oh yeah, I mean, Chris loves pooping on Orlando, so.
Listen, the Orlando fans son una bola de come pinga, right? Like, I mean, it just doesn't get any more descriptive than that.
They talk a lot of stuff, and then they hold their noses up like they're so much better than everybody. I was going back and forth with some guy in Twitter about the whole graffiti and all that garbage, and the guys, no, because you Miami criminals. And I was like, well, okay, now we know how you really feel, right? Miami criminals. There's no criminals. There's nothing. Orlando, they're all angels. Everybody's perfect. I was like, oh, man, come on, get out of here.
Well, let me tell you something. Their supporters groups is called the Ruckus. And I'm not going to tell you. One, I barely heard them. But my wife kept pointing out their stupid drum. And let me tell you something. Maybe it's because we're spoiled with our supporters group. They do a great job with the drums and everything.
Good. Yeah, they're good.
But, man, when you listen to the Orlando drums, it sounds like Jumanji. It's just like, boom, boom. It was a good movie, but it's really boring. It's really bad. So we're spoiled, and we should appreciate our supporters.
There's quality over there.
The Siege, so the Legion, everybody out there that makes the noise and does the music. appreciate you all, because that Jumanji shit that the Ruckus had going on yesterday, horrible.
It wasn't
horrible. I feel bad for anybody that was born in Orlando and it feels like they're forced to root for that team, because that's a horrible experience. But Chris, before we get onto the crybabies, would you like to say anything before we start talking about them crying about the game?
We still have no idea where Fridge Guy is. I was out looking for him, by the way.
Fridge Guy can make some money, man.
I first of all, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, there was a guy that literally said on one of the posts, he's like, "Oh, well, we redecorated your mural." Like, well, take some accountability there, Papa. Like,
I haven't
you're gonna
seen
sit
that.
here and
we
redecorated
your mural. Wow.
Yeah, like in not that same wording, right? I'm kind of taking it out of context, but he did sort of kind of say that, like, yeah, we did that, and it's like, okay, if you're we, then show me who we are, right? But of course, nothing happened. I think it's crazy that all these Orlando players, Danny, are all just so salty and complaining about the refs, dude. And the fact that you blasted 5 red cards in their last couple games, and they're going to sit here and talk about how terrible the refs are, please, bro.
I mean, I think that was the worst part. That they're like, oh, the refs hate us. Bitch, you had 5 games this year where you had the opposing, and then they're like, oh, but it was an accumulation of yellows. Yes, because they give the other team so many yellows. Look, I don't care what you say about Messi's second yellow that he was supposed to get. That first yellow to me was soft. Like, that should have been a warning. Was it a foul? 100%. It was like 20 minutes into the game. That was like the first rough contact he had. Give him a warning. Like, I thought it was so stupid that he got that first yellow.
It could have been a yellow. It could have been a yellow. Just like it could have been a yellow because he came out and like he literally just kicked the guy from behind. Could he have let it go? Absolutely.
That was soft. But
I think, Danny, it's kind of crazy though, right? Like, to see all these people so salty. And it was like you said, right? They were all prepared with these excuses, right? If it wasn't going to be one thing, it was going to be another, right?
Oh, no,
they were going to come out. It was going to be basically none of it was their fault. And it was everybody else's fault except Orlando. And they're sitting there like, oh, it's Orlando versus the world. No, buddy, you guys suck.
But you have to be prepared for this. And anybody that's listening, and I'm assuming that the majority of people in here are Inter Miami fans, just be prepared. From now on, it's either Miami loses or their team was cheated. Like that's what it is. Every team's going to go into Miami games like that. It's like, all right, we're playing against we're playing against Miami and the refs. So just be ready, because if we lose, it's because the refs helped them win. Like, that's what it's going to be now from here on until Messi leaves. Just know that that's happening. So just embrace the hate and just enjoy beating everybody's ass, because that's what's coming.
Like, but Miami Heat, when they got LeBron and Bosch come over here, everybody saying it. Oh, it's the Heatles. Everybody hated, Miami. Everybody hates Miami regardless. Well, for some reason, up north, everybody hates
because
Miami.
They wish they could live here.
Because we live where they come to vacation, I guess.
Exactly.
But the point is that the goals that Miami scored, I mean, penalty aside, the 2 goals that Miami scored are high quality, goals in any league in the world. Very good goals. So there's nothing to talk about, man. Stop whining.
I don't understand how it can't just be your team is better than our team, and that's it.
At least on this night, at least on this night, right?
If we're playing against a team, if we weren't the Messi, Busquets, and Jordi Alba show, and we're playing against them and we lose to them, like, okay, maybe we'll feel sour about a couple calls, but at the end of the day, we're playing against Messi, Busquets, and Jordi Alba. Like,
but you're right, Chris.
There's a complete difference.
But you're right, Chris, because that's the thing. Every game, look, most times that you lose, you get on Twitter, oh, the refs with that shitty call, that's why we lost the game. That happens most of the time. But what was happening yesterday was, oh, the MLS, it's a joke now. This is what the MLS has become. And it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, just be like, okay, that was a soft penalty call. That's fine. But anyway, so I wanted to get to Xavier, and you said that you had something to say about the penalty, because
absolutely,
I want to address some of these complaints that Orlando and all these other MLS fans had.
Yeah, to start, I'm going to say that I understand Orlando fans for criticizing the call. It was a critical moment in the game. Orlando looked like they were, feeling their way into the game. It looked like to them probably that they were, they had the upper hand. But me, objectively, not as an Inter Miami fan, objectively as a soccer enthusiast, as someone who's played, even at low levels, In that play, was it a soft call? Perhaps. Could it have been? I think it was a 50-50. Some referee might not have called it. That guy called it, and I don't think he was wrong. And I'll explain why. The defender felt and he saw Joseph won. Joseph was winning that ball. He won his back. He turned and he got burned. He was burnt. Galese was still too far out to come. If you watch the play again in slow motion, Galese was starting to come out and he never came all the way out because he knew that if he came out, he's done. He was cooked. So, he had to, he was never going to get to that ball. He puts out his arm. First, he hits him here, and then he grabs him. Even Holden on the call, he said at the beginning, "Oh, I don't think it's a pen." And then they saw the play again. He goes, "Okay, there's a grab, but I don't think it was enough." No, it was enough, and I'll tell you why. That same play, take it out of the penalty box, put it in the midfield with Joseph breaking free from midfield towards the goal on his own, and that defender grabs him like that, and Joseph took a veteran move by falling,
flopping back.
But in the midfield, if it's the same exact play, Joseph won his back. He's got him. He's toasted. If that defender puts his hand on him just like he did and grabs his arm just like he did, and Joseph falls, what happens? There's a foul called, and it's a yellow call.
Yep.
Didn't McVay get called for something like that?
And he got red carded.
Red carded.
McVay's was a little bit with two hands, but it was soft also. Like he kind of like went like this and let him go, but he did enough to slow him down. The defender did enough to slow Joseph down. Joseph brilliantly also took the dive and made it easy for the ref. And I think the ref had a good position. Tough call because of the moment. Absolutely. Could it have been called? Absolutely. Could another ref maybe not have called it? Yeah, he would have given the advantage to the defender because that's an advantage to the defender there. And in the box, Joseph made a good run. He had him.
He had him beat.
And he had Galesi beat because he couldn't come out. It was too far for him. So he had him. It was a good call by the ref, in my estimation, trying to be as fair as possible. Because I said, okay, there you're complaining because it's a penalty. But if the play's on the other side, that could possibly be even a red if he's stopping a play that
transition play,
goal, right? So it was a tough call, but I think honestly, was the right call.
Okay, so the penalty, I agree with you.
Soft,
okay. So soft, that's fine if you want to say it's soft. But regardless, there's soft penalties called all the time. I decided to go back and just look at just one of those penalty kicks that Orlando was given this year. And the first one that I saw, I was like, this is enough because if I wanted to, I could just pull this up. It was against the Red Bulls. If you want, go back. It was like in June 3rd, I think it was. The guy flopped in the box. He acted like he got pulled down. He got touched on the shoulder. He fell down. They gave him the penalty kick. I promise you, if I go back to June 3rd on Twitter, I will find Red Bull fans complaining that it was BS and Orlando fans saying doesn't matter if it was soft or not. It was
the call was the call
inside the box. So don't give me that. It happens every single game. The MLS isn't fixed, and Joseph wasn't Messi that was getting pulled down, because if it was Messi that got fouled, it would have been even more. Oh my God, you can't touch Messi. So that's that. And then I wanted to talk about that second yellow that everybody keeps talking about. I'll ask Chris first. Chris, should Messi have gotten a red card because that should have been his second yellow?
I don't know, man. I mean, everybody was playing real chippy last night. In a way, you kind of got to let them play it out, but you can tell that there were at least two players that I can think of that were kind of out for blood. I don't want to say blood in the sense of like to kill, but like they were playing a little rougher with Busquets and with Messi than usual, right? I mean, there was a slide tackle towards the end of the game against Busquets that I thought was a freaking red card and a half.
Messi took a shoulder to the face.
Starting the game, starting the match, not even 5 minutes. I turned to a colleague in the press box. Starting the match, not even 5 minutes into the game. I don't recall which player was from Orlando, but he spiked Busquets, where Busquets is showing the ref where he got him up in the sock. That was a yellow, clear yellow. Did he give it to him?
No,
he didn't, because I imagine the referee thought, it's touring the game. for whatever
Let him
reason,
play out.
that was a
Yeah.
clear yellow. Also, I mean, he, the guy's not a great referee. He's not a great referee,
No.
but I don't think that he did anything special for either side. Miami was
Look,
the better side. And that's it.
If Apple TV gave me the option of screen recording, believe me, I would have been petty enough to go ahead
Oh yes.
and screen record every time that we didn't get a call and that they did. Now, Apple TV doesn't give me that luxury, so I'm not gonna
You
go
would be
try to
that
fight-
petty. You would be that petty.
Yes,
Oh,
100%.
for sure.
I was
I won't waste my time anymore. I already
I
dealt
do.
with so many people
I
that
do.
I know that
I was up-
regardless, they're not going to change their mind.
but I enjoy it. No, I know they're not gonna change their mind.
Oh,
but I
okay. You
enjoy it.
enjoy that's different. That's different.
Yes. I was up until 3 a.m. going back and forth with people yesterday because I got home at 1 o'clock. Look, that
Yes,
game ended
yes.
at 11:37 or so. I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
home
yeah.
at 1 a.m. So from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., it was just finally I get to be on Twitter.
clocked
Let's
in.
go. Yes, Twitter
Mhm.
fingers heavy till 3 in the morning.
Oh,
But
man.
it's fun. I mean, that's how. I mean, people say that
Yeah.
Twitter is BS, but don't tell me that doesn't contribute a little bit to the rivalry, right? Because everybody runs to Twitter
Oh,
to talk
yeah.
their
It's
BS.
lovely. It's lovely. It's lovely.
And then that one other thing that I wanted to talk about as far as Orlando crying, everybody's saying that
Whining.
Busquets should have gotten a red. For what?
Oh, because of
And-
the neck. The
No,
neck
no.
push.
But
The
this
neck
is this
push.
is
Get
this,
over
this is
it.
BS. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Everybody keeps putting the still image of his hand close to his neck.
There you go.
If you watch it in real time, he
Pushing
just
the
does a
guy.
quick pushing him back. Yes, maybe
Yeah.
his hand moved up over his sweaty jersey and ended up a little higher as he's pushing him back. The still image looks a lot worse than it actually was.
Yeah.
Just the same way that if you want, I can't find it right now, but I can show you the still image of Joseph getting taken down in the box while this guy's grabbing onto his arm. Still images and real time, two complete different things. So I don't understand why everybody keeps posting the stupid picture of him with the kids with the hand around the neck.
People don't know
Watch
how to
the
cope.
actual video.
People don't know how to
silly.
cope. That's one of the greatest problems right now. People don't know how to cope. That's why they're always sad, depressed, taking pills. Dude, deal with it. You lost the freaking game. You
And
lost
on
the
top-
game.
And on top of that, they're sad because I think Disney is going to be losing their rights to Mickey Mouse at some point, like in a year or two. So if Mickey Mouse goes, forget about it.
So it's
There's
gonna be
nothing to do in
Mortimer. So it's
Orlando.
gonna be Mortimer Mouse again. Mortimer.
Yeah, Mortimer of ugly ass mouse, bro.
No, hold on. Wow,
All
they just
right.
keep getting worse.
So we're gonna jump into Dallas talk in a second, but I did want to touch on one more thing. Jordi Alba and Diego Gomez made their debuts yesterday. Now, obviously, it was late in the game.
Diego Gomez is a dog.
Kremaki,
I got something
think
to say about that.
He's taken a step down a little bit over the last couple of weeks, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Krematsky hasn't been playing as well as he did when he first showed up, and I thought I would see Diego Gomez. He was kind of reckless. He came in there and he got a quick yellow. It was like a minute into his time in there. I don't know if it's because he's over energized or what.
He was nervous.
But yeah,
he was nervous.
Yeah.
He might have been nervous.
after the game. No, after the game, I saw some video where Frank and the other people are asking him questions, and he's one of the guys that passes by, and they asked him, and he said it. He was nervous at the beginning, and then he worked his way into the game, which is funny for a pro player to admit it, even though he's young, he's 20. And you compared Kremashi because they look kind of similar players. Kremashi's a little bit younger, but Kremashi, when he first got in, he'd make his mistakes, but he didn't look nervous to me. Diego looked a little nervous at the beginning, and then he worked into it. Now, I'm going to steal a little bit of your thunder because I've
Go for it.
seen people writing about right away on Facebook and where, oh, no, Gomez, bench Kremashi. Like, ooh,
No,
slow down.
I'm going to pump the brakes too on that.
No. Slow down right now because Kremashi has been improving gradually. And now with these guys on the pitch, Kremashi has been one of the better players on the pitch. Why? Because you have an 18-year-old man child who's playing box to box, running down people. He's defending like a maniac.
No, his motor is great for sure.
Yeah, but you need more than a motor. He's defending like a maniac, but now he's getting the ball and putting quality passes, controlling before he'd give a bad pass he's getting the ball.
He's looking back. He's looking back before getting it. I noticed that yesterday.
No, he's looking smooth. He's looking smooth. He's getting it and giving quality passes. The pass to Joseph came from who?
Yeah, from Ben Krem.
From Crema. Yeah. And it's not the first time. He's been giving some nice passes. He's been improving. Now, I personally, don't get over hyped with Diego. Diego just got here. Camacho has been he's earning his spot and he's earned his place on the team right now. And I think that kid, you got to watch out. He's a very high ceiling. It's not for any reason that there's a lot of European teams scouting him. The kid has talent.
I don't disagree, and I like Ben Creme, right? Like Chris has kind of tagged him as the nickname Ben Creme. I like
you guys are amazing with the nicknames.
Yeah, I like the Ben Creme, but I'm my thing is that I feel like he's been turning the ball over a little too. He's been a little careless with his passes. I do agree he's been improving. Since he got here, he's been improving. I think outside of Ian Frey, I thought he was the brightest spot on the team. Him, Ian Frey, and Noah Allen, those three to me, let's keep them forever. I love those three. But
there are kids. We saw them grow up.
Yes, those three, I love those three. But I do think that he needs a little more experience. And I feel like with the team around him, we don't know about Diego Gomez yet. I'm not going to say I was extremely impressed with him yesterday, but then again, I sit in the South stand.
I like what I saw.
Right. What I saw was great. I thought he was, like you said, he was a little nervous, came out, got that quick yellow. But I would like to see a little more Diego Gomez. And I hope that Brent Krem can go ahead and
his first pass
and continue.
Is the new Pizarro. Coño.
Who's
Mike V? For Mike V, is the V for Venom? Like he just used Venom?
No, Mike V throws bangers out there, but
no. He's just throwing Venom out there. Just throwing Venom.
All right.
Share the plug. Share the plug
out of here, dude.
And then quickly, Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba. I didn't. He didn't stand out to me, but then again, he didn't have much chance to do much. He did have some great outlet passes, I thought, the way he pushes the ball forward. But again, I'm more excited to see him when he starts.
What?
Are you good with?
Shout out to Bangladesh Open Window.
That's an interesting name. Open Window.
Yeah.
You guys. How do you feel the same about Noah Allen or with Jordi Alba?
What was your point? That Noah's a good player, but that's Jordi's spot.
The difference in quality.
No, of course.
We know that's Jordi's spot. And Noah.
Look, I'm a Noah Allen stan.
He has to understand that you're having a world-class player coming in, a guy who's won the World Cup, who's won champions, and these guys they're in their 30s, but they still have gas in the tank, because the 30s now in 2023 is not the 30s in 1993 when these guys used to smoke and and drink beers and go to sleep at 4 a.m. No, these are different guys. They're elite athletes, and they still got some gas. Are they what they used to be? No, but they're still better than the vast majority of players in the world. You're talking about Lionel Andres Messi.
Mm-hmm.
He just won the World Cup. He was the main factor for that team to win the World Cup. He was one of the best. He was the best player in that World Cup. You're talking about Busquets, where they won, the Europe League, whatever thing over there that they do, with the captain Jordi. These guys are still high quality players that the league has never had someone like that at their prime. They've brought in good players. Zlatan is a great player, but even Zlatan with his ego and all this shit, he'll point to Messi and know that's the man.
Yeah,
that's the man. And he's here. He's wearing pink, and they're not giving him the games. They're taking them because nobody's 100%. giving him 5 goals.
No.
Nobody's giving him 5 goals.
I just feel kind of bad for guys like, David Ruiz. He's a dog. He's gonna lose minutes.
Well, I don't know what happened to Arroyo, before we keep going, I did want to jump on to Dallas.
We're never meant to have all the injuries.
No, they weren't. Right. Yeah. So we do have another guest to join us here. You may have heard him already. He's been on with us before. He does the Miami Fusion podcast. He is going to have a Miami Fusion Day here October 6th, where we kind of have like a panel. And like I said, I'll let him talk about it a little bit. And before I bring him in, we have a few people here listening live. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe while you're on here. It helps the channel grow and new people find us. So go ahead and do that. So without much further ado, we bring on Mr. Joe Shaw. The biggest reason we have him on, not only because of the Miami Fusion, but he is a Dallas FC supporter. So for that, sir,
I'm conflicted, guys.
No. Welcome. The Miami welcome.
Wow.
I'm
And
sorry.
you get the
I had to do
awkward
it.
boo like the every 3
The, like,
seconds.
Oh
an
no,
extra
let me tell you
person
something.
is throwing
This
a
is the
boo.
one that Chris wanted to give you, but I refused.
Oh, that's one. That's the Jets boo.
But I was
Classic.
kind. I was
Classic.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So
So
how
I've
you
got
doing,
the.
Joe?
I'm good. I got the Miami Fusion jersey I'm rocking, but I also
See,
got
there you go.
my Dallas scarf because I can't help where I'm born, right? I can't help where I'm
I
born.
understand.
You can't
I
help
get
where you
you.
start. But I'm conflicted, but I'm excited because I think this match that's coming up in Dallas, hosting Messi's Miami or Miami and Messi, however you want to call it, right? Inter Miami.
Miami
is
and
gonna
Messi. Come on.
Miami and Messi. There it is. It's going to be a good match. I mean, I think there's a couple of good storylines here, right? So for one, it's Messi's first time on the road in MLS, and
Yep.
typically in MLS, though I don't know about this time. If you saw the $62,000 resale tickets in Dallas for a $45 normal seat, I don't know how many Dallas fans are going to be there. I'm just saying, $62,000 for a $45 seat. So, I mean,
I'll be impressed when somebody buys it at that price, though.
Right, I
People
mean-
put it at those prices, but
yeah, but so historically, right, MLS stadiums have huge home field advantage. We see that all the time year over year, and so I think it's the first time where you're going to get a little bit of a home crowd for Messi to go up against. And then you also have got guys like Jesus Ferreira, right, who is historically been a stud for Dallas and is continuing to try and stake a claim for he should be in the MVP conversation, right? So this whole season has been about him trying to rewrite the narrative that people may have had post World Cup when he was on the team, and people had comments about should he be on the team, should he not be on the team, right? So some of the 105 degree weather. I'm gonna tell you, I was in Seattle recently, and it was 78 degrees high, and I came back to 110 degrees at midnight with a blow dryer blasting my face. So that's the kind of weather we got going on here in Dallas. So it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, it's going to be sticky,
and we're gonna be working our black jerseys too.
yes, so nice
Ooh.
and soaking wet, but it's going to be I think it's going to be a very fast and open game. I think Dallas has an outside chance, but as much of a Dallas fan as I am, I'm a little worried, I'll be honest.
You should be.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
it's Messi, right? I mean Xavier, it's Messi, right?
Well, Dallas is in the playoffs right now as far as the Western Conference goes, but
Yes.
their offense hasn't necessarily been good. It's their defense that they're relying on, no?
I mean, that's true. This season has been really tough. So there's been a lot of injuries. So Paul Arriola has been out for a pretty long time. Alan Velasco, who we signed last year for a record transfer fee, he hasn't really been able to find the same form he had last year with guys like Arriola out. Sebastian Lletget was out for a bit. And then Paxton Pomykal, who's historically had injuries in the middle of the pitch, has been off and on. And so there hasn't been a lot of consistency with the first 11. So we've really been grinding games out with Martin Paz, who's a stud of a goalkeeper that we got last year. And you've got like a 3 center back rotation that we've been going through with Nkosi Tafari, Jose Martinez, and Sebastian Ibiaga. Usually the 3 of those, they kind of alternate. So you had Tafari and Martinez last night. So I'd expect to see Ibiaga and Tafari partnering together on Sunday against Miami.
All right. So if you had to tell us, you think Miami has a chance because we suck here. Everybody in the chat is like, if Dallas has no midfield. Where is Miami going to take advantage of Dallas?
Where they should be taking advantage of Dallas
Uh-huh.
is up the gut through the middle. So Sebastian Lletget just came back and he's been finding his form. Paxton Pomykal just got some minutes last night, but he's still not really match fit. And then Edwin Cerrillo, who's been starting as a homegrown, just got traded to LA at midnight last night on the break. And so it's a bit touch and go. We like to play 4-3-3, although it's more of a 4-1 with that defensive mid and then a 2 and then a 3.
Okay.
Facundo Cunyon, I always mispronounce his last name, has been playing sort of that defensive midfield role, but he's reckless. He's always good for a crazy yellow or two.
They tend to be.
Right? And so that's where I would target Dallas in transitions through the middle. But the good news for Dallas, we just signed former Real Madrid, Real Sociedad defensive midfielder. I'm going to get the name incorrect, the pronunciation. I have it right here. Asir Mendy. I'm completely
That's
butchering
pretty, that's
his
pretty
name.
good. That's pretty good.
But
That was close.
he is the signing we've needed in midfield.
It's a good
I
player.
don't expect him to start. I don't expect him to be match fit. But I do expect him to see the field for a little bit at least. So if this signing had come a little bit earlier in the month, I think I'd feel
Then-
better. But that's where
Yeah.
Miami should go. And Messi's going to enjoy sitting right there, deep in transition, picking passes and finding guys on the wing and cutting in. That's where I would expect the attack to go.
Wow,
I
that's
hadn't
that's
seen
a
that
perfect
Iramendi
storm.
signing.
Yeah, that's a perfect storm for Miami, being that their strength is Boosie getting the ball right there in the middle and just spraying
Pushing
it
up.
around.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, I mean, obviously you have Messi, but Kramashi has been playing, the young player from Miami has been playing really well, and he's been teaming up really well with Boosie. You know, they understand each other well, and then get it up to Messi and then to our guy Joseph. So if you're saying that up the middle is weak, oh, that's great for Miami. That's great for Miami.
And Leggett, is he over his heartbreak or how's that going?
He got some goals under his belt, right? So that
Okay.
to me
Okay, so he's
tells me
back to form?
he's on the
He's back to form?
up. Yeah, he's doing
Okay.
well.
He's
He's
cold as-
rebounded. He's
cold as
rebounded
ice.
pretty well.
He's cold as ice. That never bothered him. Come on, bro. He's heartless. He's heartless. He don't care about that.
I don't
So-
know, man.
so-
That's a bad chick.
So, well, I mean, you kind of answered what Tomas was just asking about what chances Dallas has about neutralizing Messi's game. I mean, the midfield is probably the most critical on both either negative or positive side.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I would say where Dallas does have a chance, right? And where we've historically liked to play is up the fullbacks or the wings whipping it in. So
Okay.
usually you'll see our midfield spray passes out wide. Last year it was to Velasco and Areola whipping it in for Ferreira, with Areola out and Velasco's out, and with Pomacall out. Velasco has actually dropped a bit more centrally in the last couple of matches, and you've had Areola and O'Brien.
I just want to bring this up. My channel, you've already came through with like 3 dime of the day comments. His suggestion of 8-1-1 formation,
trend-setting, innovative,
I just
trend-setting.
It's called the middle finger, right? I think that's what it's called, right? The 8-1-1.
Yeah, just play for a penalty shootout. You know, take your chances.
Nice.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
Wait,
I was just
go
gonna
ahead,
say-
Joshua. I just totally blew.
No, you're good. I was
that.
going to say, so Dallas did get a good signing. Their other good signing was a winger by the name of Eugene. Where is it? Eugene Ansa. So he's come in off the bench the last couple matches, but he's gotten multiple goals off the bench by being in the right place at the right time to whip in a cross and find someone, or to be on the end of a whipped in cross. So that's where I think Dallas is going to try and target, is spraying it out wide, try and get their speed, of which our fullbacks are very fast, as well as our wingers. I think that's where we're going to try and take the game. If we try and play deep and defensive, we're going to lose. That's not the type of game that we play, and we're not set up to play that way. And our goalie, Martin Paz, is good for a couple of superhuman saves in him, but just as many superhuman saves. I would say for every 3 saves, he has 1 penalty that he gives up where he just likes to run out and clip people's legs. So that's great news for Joseph. That's not so good news for Dallas fans.
And according to the rest of MLS fans, we're going to get that call one way or another.
Right, exactly.
And it's going to be
It's guaranteed.
scripted. And it's going to be
It's gonna be
scripted,
scripted.
and
It's gonna be
Messi's
scripted.
meant to win. But what you said is it plays exactly into Miami's weakness. Because Miami has, if they've been weak, well, they've been weak until Messi and Boosie arrived. But one of the greatest weakness is down the wings. The defending down the wings has been horrendous. They've given up plenty of goals that way. And exactly the way you said, get out and spray it into the box. And somehow the ball finds the back of the pole with somebody just walking in, tapping it. And that's happened all season. The last few games, that hasn't happened. They've tightened up in general, you know, so we don't know what to expect there. But if there's a weakness, it is that for Miami. And you just, you know, you guys have Miami's strength is through the middle. So it's going to be like a perfect match. You know, the teams are going to be perfectly matched to see who can do more damage.
Well, let me mention something, Xavier. I don't know if you noticed this, but at the end of the game yesterday, that same play that you're talking about that got called back for offsides was literally that play.
It's been all season long. Against Chicago, I remember the coach Ezra.
No.
He said it. He said it like he came out before Phil, right? He said it. that they were looking to do that on purpose. They've seen that weakness that Miami overshifts.
Back post
somehow.
open. Yep. Mhm.
And then Phil came out and was like, "That's bullshit. That's
Yeah.
not true." Man. You know what? Ezra was right.
It's been happening all year.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't just Chicago. It's kept going all season long. And they got lucky that the player did interfere and he was offside against Orlando, which is another salty play where they were criticizing and bitching about it. But the guy was offside. So, the bar saw it and they called it back.
Mhm.
And a set piece is another weakness of ours. So, I mean, that's basically where we give up the majority of our goals, honestly, over the last month. It hasn't been open play. It's been set pieces. So
There you go. Sean's talking about that.
So
yeah.
we've got pretty tall center backs, especially if you've got Tafari and Ibiaga starting like that. They've gotten multiple goals from set pieces, specifically from corner kicks. So that's what we're gonna look to go towards, is what I would say, is try and target them either at probably the back post. And then Velasco can whip in a pretty precise free kick, right? He's
These guys are beautiful today.
Right.
Round of applause to you guys in the comments
Tonight they're
section,
on
bro.
fire.
You guys
I think
are
that Orlando
bodying it.
City victory like gave everybody creativity juice or something. I don't know what happened.
There's
what? I honestly love doing this show just to read the comments, honestly.
yeah.
I'm just here for the comments.
I'm just here for the comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry,
No, you're good. I was going to say Alan Velasco can whip in a pretty precise free kick, right? He's no Messi, but he is Argentinian, right? So he does have a wicked kick. And I would say if anybody didn't watch FC Dallas's match last night, which is probably pretty likely because y'all were watching the Inter Miami Orlando match, right? I was flipping back and forth myself. Martin Paz has a double save near the end of the match that is incredible, and preserves the 2-1 lead for Dallas, which gives Dallas the victory. That is what Martin Paz is known for. There's a moment. So I think they were resting Martin Paz, and they had Jimmy Maurer as the backup starting in the first match against Charlotte. And Dallas should have won that match outright. They ended up losing in PKs in the group phase of the League Cup. But Jimmy Maurer had some saves, some blunders that it's just Martin Paz doesn't make those. They swap him in the next match, same type of shot, boom, it's not getting past him. I mean, the level of class is just ridiculous when you're looking at both of them. So that's what I would say. He also had a double PK save on Sporting Kansas City earlier in the year. He technically it was just one because they made Sporting KC retake it, but it was the same guy. Paz stoned him twice. So that's the type of goalie he's got. That Dallas has got. So that's what's going to be interesting. But as a good friend of mine, Jeff Rusnak, said, Messi has a way of making even the best goalkeepers look a bit foolish. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine, he drives an Uber, and he had Gillespie's brother, and he was taking him to his hotel yesterday, and he called them. He called me because Gillespie's brother wanted to ask me how many times has Messi scored on Gillespie, and I didn't answer because I was in the pool. And by the time I called my friend back, he wasn't there. But if by any chance in health he's watching this, he scored twice on your brother now. It's been twice.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there. All right. So it's prediction time. Joe, my man, before we start talking about the Fusion night, predictions for Sunday's game. Dallas, Miami, in Dallas. Home field advantage for Miami.
Home ref.
I want to say right now. I want to say right now, if anybody spent $62,000 on a ticket for the match, I want to know what kind of job you have, because to have $62,000 worth of disposable income is incredible to just drop on a ticket like that.
For sure.
No, I'm going to say, so Dallas home field advantage is usually pretty strong, but I grew up Dallas fan, and I was there the first time Beckham played in the stadium against Dallas, and to see the Galaxy home field advantage was unprecedented. I'm going to say it's going to be 3-2 Miami, which I feel bad pulling, or not pulling. I'm pulling for Dallas, I will say, but I hate having that prediction, but I do think it's going to be open. It's going to be fast. And I think at the end of it, it's going to be 3-2 Miami.
You're a good man. You know, hardly anybody ever, says a score against their team.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it has like the reverse effect.
You're
right?
hoping
Maybe
you're
Jesus
wrong.
Freire is listening right now, and he's like, I'm going to show that guy.
Oh, I got you.
Xavier. Prediction,
billboard
Xavier.
material.
Man, I haven't had the ability to watch too many of the Dallas games, but I know when you have a player, right? So Ferreira is a talented player, so I think he'll definitely get. They'll definitely get on the board. Miami has been tight too. They've been scoring a lot of goals lately with Messi, but I think it's about time for another tight game, maybe a 2-1 game, Miami. But we'll see. They're both. It's a weird game you got to analyze because they're both playing into their weaknesses. Like it's a perfect match for an open game, like he said. So who knows what can happen?
Interesting. Yeah, Chris, what are you thinking?
Listen, it's like he said. What is this guy Ferreira? He's a pretty high up there FIFA card. Okay, I play. I don't play around with my FIFA cards.
Hey, that's how we scout on this show.
Yeah, that's how we scout.
We scout FIFA cards.
FIFA
no shame in that.
Better sponsor you guys, dude.
Yeah,
right, we're trying. We're working those angles.
I think. Look, if I went with 3-1 Orlando, which I got perfectly, by the way, Danny.
So did I.
The only thing is I didn't pick Messi to get 2 goals. I picked Taylor to get the third one. Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. I think I'm gonna go with 4-2. Miami.
Okay. You don't think they're gonna put up 4? They're gonna put up 4 goals on the middle finger formation.
8-1-1.
On that 8-1-1.
8-1-1.
My son threw 10-0-0.
I'm surprised that the 8-1-1 nets 2 goals in their favor.
Yeah, well, that's true also.
See, this is why, Pedro, I'm picking 4-2 because Messi is a 99.
No.
And then we got a bunch of other gold cards. Yeah,
at
they just came out with a brand
new
new card.
36, he's still a 99.
So they got a special card for him.
So FIFA doesn't think he's here just to retire, right? He's got some juice.
Man, I hope that you're right on that one, Chris. But I'm gonna go good old boring like I did with the last game. I said 2-1 last game. I was happy that they got 3, and I'm gonna go 2-1 on this one also. Dallas has a good defense. It is what it is. They don't get scored on much.
First away game, big travel.
First away game. It's gonna be hotter than. It's gonna be hot as hell, and I think it's gonna be an adjustment. So as much as I want to kind of ride that Chris wave with a 4-2, I'm gonna say I still think we win, but it's gonna be more contested than people are thinking. I think 2-1, and I just can't predict clean sheets for us because I just don't believe it. I think that they're gonna score on a set piece or something like that. And unfortunately, that's what I do believe. All right, so
yeah, you were saying, Xavier?
No, as the games, you get further into these rounds, the games are gonna get tighter and tighter, and they're gonna get a little rougher, and there's gonna be less scoring. So I mean, Dallas has their weapons that can cause harm to Miami, and they're at home. So I think it's a tough game.
I'm gonna do, Daniel, I know you're about to say something. I'm gonna do one very specific prediction. So I remember when Beckham played, Adrian Ciro. I don't know. That's a callback. He played for FC Dallas, Canadian defensive midfielder. Beckham brings the ball down. Ciro comes in with a crunching tackle, gets an automatic yellow. He stands over Beckham and says, "Welcome to MLS," and walks off. So my prediction is that Facundo Cognon is going to start, and he's going to do that to one of the Barcelona boys. I don't know if it's going to be Messi, but it will be to one of them, and there will be something said in Portuguese or Spanish, depending on what Facundo decides to say.
Jordi Alba, I love you, but I really hope it's you because I don't want him to touch Messi or Busquets. Take one for the team. If one of the Barca guys has to take it, please let it be Jordi Alba because at least you got Noah Allen behind him.
If it's Messi, let's just pretend like it's Messi who's taking that. You know who's going to go out and do a flying sidekick and defend them? It's not going to be it's not going to be the Barcelona guy. No, it's his new best friend,
Joseph.
His new best friend, Joseph.
Joseph comes to his defense.
Dude, if that happens, it's gonna get ugly because Joseph is like always hugging him and in the pictures and us. If Messi goes down like that, Joseph's gonna come and like karate kick somebody for sure.
All right, throw some arroz con
una arepa, a flying arepa.
Toss the table on him.
Something's happening.
Before we close this out, I did want to give you a chance because. Obviously, the majority of us are here are Inter Miami fans, but we have a lot of new viewers that don't realize that Miami did have a team before this. It was the Miami Fusion back in 2001 was the last year. They had the best record in the league. They unfortunately didn't win the chip that year. They won the Supporters' Shield, and then they went into extinction, and then we had to wait 20 years to come back. But go ahead and tell them what you're doing with your podcast about the Miami Fusion night and all that other good stuff, since we have so many people listening.
Yes. So I would say if you want to know more about the story of the Miami Fusion, I did an episode with y'all. It's back in y'all's archives as well.
Episode 41.
Episode 41, there it is. But the podcast is called 25 for 25, the story of the Miami Fusion from those who lived it. I'm doing interviews with former players, coaches, staff, fans, supporters, literally anybody who is affiliated with the club. And we're just doing an oral history of the podcast. And I got some really cool guests that have yet to air. So those episodes are still to come. But on Friday, October 6th at Mickey Byron's Irish Pub in Hollywood, Florida, we're doing a live podcast recording of 25 for 25 and an official Miami Fusion reunion. I can tell you a couple confirmed guests. Former captain Jimmy Rooney is going to be hosting it with me. We're going to tell you a little bit about the origins of the podcast. We're going to bring people up to share some stories. We're going to be running through whoever's there. So it's going to be exciting. Ian Bishop's going to be there. If people remember the British midfielder, Ivan McKinley. There's other players that I can't officially say yet, but just know that there's going to be some surprises. We've got former staffers like Donna Cardoza, who is listed as the team mom of the Fusion. Guys like the former trainer Jamie Rojas, other folks connected with the Fusion like Jeff Rusnak of the Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel, and Michelle Kaufman with the Miami Herald. So there's going to be a ton of people from the Miami sports scene and the Miami Fusion that are coming into town or are already in town that are going to be there for this event. So it's going to be exciting. There's really cool stuff. I hope I'm allowed to say this. So here we go. We've got custom pint glass engravings that you can get while you're there at the pub. So just go and support Mickey Byron's. They've been super awesome. Are you
giving out
they have
any
a promotion.
Valderrama wigs?
Well, you never know, right? You never know. But I am going to tell you, they are doing a promotion right now that if every time Messi scores, they give out a free beer. I don't know if it's to everybody that's in the bar or if you have to come after or whatever. They said we're running out of money because Messi keeps scoring, but that's a plug for them. And then there's going to be some other fun giveaways I'm working on. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. Some good, fun, unbelievable stories from yesteryear. I do have a QR code that you can scan to go directly to get your Eventbrite ticket. So there's no charge, but I just do it so that way I can track and see how many people are there. I've got it. I don't know if I can present it. Let me see if
this guy,
this is going to work. Hold on.
He's talking about the scrambled eggs. I remember Ivan McKinley with strikers.
Yes.
I used to go out there and watch. I had a friend play at that point in time, so I would go watch my friend. I remember McKinley. I remember a couple of the other guys. I forgot their names, but I used to go out there and watch them play.
It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be some really cool stories, some absolutely unbelievable stories. I've been told there may be a story or two that we won't be able to record, but we'll be there for the people live in the bar. So
fun.
Come check it out. Is the QR code showing? I can't tell if it is showing on my screen.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know how to do this.
There it is.
There you go.
Yes. Just scan that bad boy. It'll take you to the Eventbrite. You can sign up. It's going to be a good time for sure.
Beautiful. So make sure, and then where can they follow you? So just in case they can keep in track of everything going up between now and October 6th.
That's right. So I'm at Miami Fusion Pod on Instagram and Facebook, and then on Twitter, or I guess it's X now. I don't know what to call it. It is Twitter, on Twitter, I'm at Detox DTALKS Joe. And I will say, I'll give you a little teaser. I'm also already working on 25 for 25 season 2. I'm not going to go much further, but it is Dallas focused, and it is 25 years ago in 1999 because it's going to come next year. And there's some really cool stuff that was happening in MLS in 1999. So just stay tuned.
And Lucas, we've asked the question to both Joe and Xavier already, so we got to check that out in the archives, sir. Oh, the cruise question.
Well, I mean, we've asked the Lucas question, but the Cruz question, just real quick. Let's make this real quick because we're running out of time here. First, we'll go with Javi, and then we'll go with Joe. 1 to 5, 5 being the best option, 1 being the worst. Cruising, go.
3.5.
Do we mean like cruising for people? Do we mean like going on a cruise?
On a cruise.
Like,
going on a cruise.
Oh, I'm gonna say like 1. I've never been on a cruise, so. You know what? I'll say 5 because I've also never been on a cruise, and it could be 1 or 5, right?
Yes.
There
so
you go.
Average, the 1 and the 5 is 6, so we'll go 3 for him. That's his.
There it is. 3 it is.
Yeah. So as always, Steve, eat it.
Eat it.
So Steve is a cruise hater. All right. If you were on audio, thank you for listening all the way to the end. If you were watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. And if you were in the comment section, as always, you are by far the best part of the show. We appreciate you joining us. And to Xavier for filling in for Chris while he was, running late, I guess. We thought he wasn't going to be here, but we
No
appreciate
one
you
can
joining us.
fill Chris's shoes.
No, no,
I was just
everybody loves
here,
Chris.
taking space.
Joe, thank you for joining us on short notice. I hit you up very late, but you were kind enough to join us. Thank you for talking Dallas. And again, we're looking forward to that Miami Fusion stuff. And thank you, Chris, for probably having to sleep on the couch tonight because it's your wife's birthday and you jumped on with us anyway. But thank you. I still hate you. And we will see you guys on maybe Sunday night or Monday. I don't know. Depends on what time the game is. Joe, have you heard what time the game is on Sunday?
No, they haven't announced it, but
yet.
usually it's been 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, because
If it's
you got to
that
go
late,
as
I
late
don't
as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would love to record after the game, but I don't know how that's going to go. Depends on the time. But if not, we'll catch you guys on our usual time on Monday, 9 o'clock.
And a special happy birthday to my wife. Happy birthday.
Yeah, okay.
baby.
Yes, happy
Try to
birthday.
save face. Yeah, go ahead.
Getting brownie
Yeah.
points late.
Make sure you go and show her this part of the show, Chris.
Yeah.
She's watching.
All right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So there you go. And if you are interested in any new Inter Miami or Messi gear, go ahead and visit us on BallerFans.com. And until the next one, have a good one.